Welcome back, everybody. Episode 13 here of The Common Thread. Today's episode, wow, I'm a kid again. Can you believe it? So, the reason we're talking about this, so during quarantine, COVID-19, we've been locked inside of our houses and killing all this time inside. But what have we been doing? For me, it's been sort of a ghost of childhood past. So watching old TV shows, playing old video games, kind of digging in the old treasure box to find hidden gems that I haven't done or thought of in a long time. So I was like, you know what, this would be fun to talk about, like digging up all that old stuff, but like intertwining it with like new modern day stuff. So here we go. So some of the stuff I've been doing, and I hate to say it, it wasn't reading a book. Sorry, kids, all those listeners out there who like to read books. First, I'm going to dive into the video game portion. So just skip ahead if you don't give a rat's ass, because it's going to get deep. So first thing that I kind of dove into during this quarantine was my PlayStation 2. What is it? What's a PlayStation 2? You say, so that was one of like the first consoles I ever had. Before that, it was a Sega. And if you don't know what a Sega is, look it up. Google it. So for the first little portion, I got into an old game I used to play called MVP Baseball 2005. Now, this game was the bomb. The owner's mode is really what I kind of have dove back into per se. You basically create your own stadium, set the ticket prices, you're in charge of player salaries. Like, it's a wicked in-depth game from being in 2005, but there's some great characteristics to it that I just love that they haven't been able to replicate. It's easy to delete time into a baseball game because there's 100 exactly games. So it's a great game. I've really kind of dove into that, but then I started diving into some other stuff. The next one was NCAA football 2012. I don't have 14. Now, I did look into 2014. And the crazy thing is that with all this nostalgia, I guess, happening with quarantine or COVID, and maybe it's even before all this, maybe it's because they don't make NCAA football or NCAA games, this is NCAA 2014 on the market right now. If you can find it, it goes anywhere in the ballpark from like $120 to $200 for one game. Are you serious? It's insane. So I've been playing NCAA 2012. I am like, you can just crush it in NCAA. You can set it to any level difficulty and smash through a dynasty. Easy, quick, getting recruits in and out, left and right. And to be honest with you, I picked Air Force, thinking like that was like the first alphabetical. I'm like OCD, like boom, let's just try it. They're not a great team, but for some reason they kind of are a good team. And I started a season with them. Or a dynasty, and before I knew it, I deleted 6 seasons. I started my 6th, won 5 national championships with them, and it's just crazy. So that was an unreal move. I'm excited for, hopefully, the return of another NCAA. There's murmurs out there in the market that it's going to make a return. They're currently, just so everybody who is interested, this is sort of the stage they're at. They're actually currently trying to figure out a players union so they can figure out how to divvy up the player earnings, because as of recent, they have now legally let NCAA players make money. Now the hard part is to create a players union so they can figure out how to divvy up where that money goes and is distributed amongst all athletes. Oh my God, that process, again, I heard could take at least a year, maybe more. So don't get your hopes up. It's not going to happen anytime soon. Crazy, though, the process that it kind of takes to make that all happen. Another old game I dug up and dusted off the old DS and played Pokemon Sapphire, Alpha Sapphire. I got in the Pokemon grind. My buddies have been playing the Switch. They've been playing Sword and Shield, and I hadn't gotten it, and so I was playing Alpha Sapphire, which really kind of took me back into a time capsule. I also have Gold. Pokemon's like legendary. Like the concept of just grinding into a Pokemon game is it's so easy to delete time on Pokemon. Like you could start after work at 5, maybe 5:15, and it's gone. It's 9:30, and you've beaten like 2 gym leaders. You've leveled up like 30 Pokemon. You've gotten all these cool evolves. Like it's so cool. There's so many Pokemon. Then, funny story. I went to Walmart one night just to get allergy medicine and a jar of peanut butter. That's why I go to Walmart, just for those simple things. And when I went there, I was like, you know what? I'm curious. This is during quarantine, mind you. This is like the middle of quarantine, probably beginning of May. And I'm walking through Walmart. I got this idea. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go check and see if there's any switches. And for anybody who knows, there basically are like no switches out on the market. They're like, back stock till like, the end of June, July, if you were looking in May. So it's been like a hard find. So I went to Walmart for that. I walk and there's one switch left in the case. And I am like immediate, boom, got it. No hesitation. And I took it. So I went to Walmart and I got allergy medicine, a jar of peanut butter, and a Switch. And then after that, I bought Pokemon. I got Shield because all the boys got Sword. So obviously for trading purposes, because there's different Pokemon in each game. Fun fact for everybody. And so deleted that. Now I'm kind of grinding in that. I have to shamelessly say that I've already 70 hours. And I've only been one gym leader, but I have like 160 Pokemon. I'm like one of those guys. I want to get them all. I got to catch all the Pokemon. So I'm like on this grind. And I know that you can't catch them all before, but it's a totally new game. Check it out. It's cool. That's been easy to dive into, and such a nostalgia. Like me and my best friend Jake, when we were younger, growing up, we went to the same daycare. And this is crazy to think, like we were like young, probably 9 and 7, and it like Pokemon was it. Like on the Game Boy Color, we were just grinding for hours. That's how we'd kill daycare, just grinding on Pokemon. So it's been fun to kind of dive back into that, talk to him and like some of the newcomers who are just getting into Pokemon. So it's super exciting. And then the last game I've kind of dove into just briefly at the beginning of quarantine, even before Pokemon, was Skyrim. So I have to make a confession. I've never actually beaten Skyrim. I just get kind of so caught up in like discovering this huge world, and then like also there's all these side quests, and then I'm like, I've lost the main quest, and now there's all these up to 100. Like you'll go into one town and you get like 50 quests, and then I'm like, all right, I lost track of what the main story was. And I've never really made it far. There's a couple reasons for that, but this time I started fresh. And I think now I'm like a level 23, which is crazy. It's not that high of a level. I actually don't know what the max level is. Couldn't tell you much else. But I got into it, and it was really cool just to dive into all these old games that like you grew up, like Skyrim. I remember in high school we were all talking about Skyrim and like where we were and the stories, and like there's this one kid, Taylor, who would talk about his horse, Mir, and him riding the horse off a waterfall cliff into a depth of whatever and killing his horse. But it's just so crazy. And then on the old TV show front, I mean, it's like Avatar's coming back. If anybody's got HBO Max, like it's crazy. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Friends, Samurai Jack, like all these oldies coming back. And like we just rewatched Avatar, and I guess on Netflix, like watching Avatar is crazy. It's crazy because like as a kid growing up watching Avatar, like you couldn't keep up with all the episodes. They were never in like order, and like I didn't keep up with it enough, I guess, to like follow it all the way through. So it was cool to like watch it all the way through, every episode in order, all 3 seasons, and see it all wrapped together. And it's great. It's actually a really good show. Super stoked that I rewatched it. Like, it just has a different meaning, I guess, as an adult. It's also strange how your perception of things change. Like, you used to think like one episode was phenomenal, and then you rewatch it as an adult, and it doesn't like grip you like it used to. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And like, it's cool to just, it's been a unique experience. Then I've also kind of been rewatching shows that I like recently have really liked. Stranger Things being one of them. I've now rewatched it probably like twice now since quarantine. Just love Stranger Things. I just love if you haven't watched on Netflix, and it's kind of late in the game now for quarantine life or COVID quarantine life, everything's kind of reopening, but if you haven't, Stranger Things, amazing. And then also the other thing that I've rewatched now 3 times is the Chernobyl Diaries on HBO. Phenomenal, wicked good. I'm a history buff, and like not a lot of people know this, but I actually minored in history in college, which makes no fucking sense because I was a sports management major. So like how that all collabs, don't know. I just had enough credits to do it, so that's fine. So with all this kind of like nostalgia and all these like spinning old things, my brain starts stirring, right? Like, you know, for the industry, like some ones that would be great to bring back. Hint, hint, cough, cough, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, listen in, guys. Sign your contracts with all these network providers. Get on HBO, Hulu, Netflix, whatever you got to do. But bringing back Rocket Power would be clutch. I don't think anybody would be mad about it. Cat Dog, and that's a strange one. Not everybody would agree. Some people would think that's kind of like, whoa, why Cat Dog? Cat Dog would be fire. That was one for me that really just stuck. And also Dragon Ball Z, just that one's off the head. Dragon Ball Z would be dope. I actually, originally when I got Hulu, it used to have the first original OG Dragon Ball Z with the English sub, and it was great. And I would love for it to come back, because that was like a great after school, boom, Toonami, bang, bang, bang. And then the like last one that I think would be great to have back is Kids Next Door. Loved it. I loved it. I mean, my favorite quote is from the episode where they talked about like the battle ready armor, aka the bra. Like, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. And I just think it would be great. And so with that in mind, this got my head spinning about like what would be like good now that we're off these like base, like these formulas that were working so well when we were growing up, but like applying it now in some of these things. Like TV shows kind of have like lost their like they've like lost that hook and line and pull you in for the bait. Like I'm trying to find new TV shows and it's hard to like get gripped in like it was. Like, you know, it's just like, and same thing with video games. Like if anybody who plays video games, like I've leaned off of it now, especially the new stuff, because it's just like repetitive, especially with sports games. Like now all you do, you set up a dynasty and you're on repeat. It might be like new players or whatever, but like nothing else has changed. That being said, when I was playing MVP baseball, I thought about this with like new sports games, taking that old concept. And that means you, EA, coming for blood. So think about it this way. If you had a video game that applied like real world type of concepts or real world situations, like for instance, in the owner mode, take a game like FIFA, for instance. Now, FIFA, aka soccer, has multiple leagues. That's fantastic. Now, if you did, for instance, like a create your own club, let's say you have to start in England, like at a bottom tier league, and you get accoladed or allotted a certain amount of funds, that would be sick. That would be so cool. And then you get to create your own badge, you get to kind of design and upgrade your new stadium, and you get to sign players out on the market that might be on the transfer, like whatever. And bring it in, like bring them in after a certain budget you have, and you start this club. That would be sick. And you just build it up. That's taking care of a lot of needs. It's the creative piece. It's sort of on the business end, so you're dealing with money. It deals with a lot that I think could be added to these games. It would be phenomenal. Phenomenal. Like, scratch like whatever EA is doing now with some of their games, and I'm like, what are we doing here? Like the story mode with that guy, and all you get at the end is like one season. And also now in Dynasties, like for at least I know in FIFA for sure, you only get 14 years, and then they're like, nope, scratch it. I want depth, man. I want depth. I want to delete time. I'm one of those guys. Like if I get in the right mood with like a FIFA, it's a day. Like if it's raining on Saturday or Sunday and I got nothing else to do, I'm gonna crush time on FIFA. No doubt. What else are we gonna do? What else is going on? It's easy. And then you're diving into a good thing and you're building on it, like creating a club. That's an idea. That's gonna make you money, EA. You know, like that's the stuff we need right now. You know, bring back the old stuff with like the graphics in games now are phenomenal. So take your winning formulas of the past with mediocre graphics and fucking get in with new graphics, old formula, smush it together. You got a game-changing formula right there. Boom, delete it. If you want to give me credit later on, thanks, you're welcome. I mean, it would be a phenomenal concept. And then the same thing with like any other games. Like there's so many ideas that you could do that were like formulating great concepts of the old times and then just reimagining them now with better graphics. You could do it. You could absolutely do it. It kills me that like games now are just so simple and like they don't give you enough, you know, like they're great concepts. Like, you know, I could like Destiny, great idea, such a great idea. Missed opportunity because you're just doing the same missions over and over and over and over, and there's not a lot of gear. Borderlands, for those who may or may not know, is a phenomenal game. Its creative depth is insane. There's billions of different guns within the game that you could find and loot and all that stuff. That was cool. The only thing they were missing is like creating a character like that you could really customize. Again, a winning formula because it works and they're doing quite well within the gaming community. And then again, morphing it. I don't know. I don't know how. I honestly, like, I can't speak. I'm not within the gaming development like business. I don't know much, but I have ideas that would be phenomenal. So EA, Ubisoft, whoever, call me. I'll help you out. We'll connect. It's fine. I think anybody else would be super stoked. And this brings me to another point. Now, with all this old stuff and maybe reimagining it and tweaking it and whatever, comes the fun portion of knowing where to draw the line. Now, I say this because, for instance, I just read an article on there being, made second movies of things that don't need to be remade, like Beetlejuice or Hocus Pocus, like just things like that. There needs to be it's great, like bring them back, put them on your network, whatever. But to make a second one, like to make sequels like 20, 30 years down the road, I'm going to be honest, I'm not huge on those things. I don't think they do as well. Just leave them be. But you can take the formula that was working so well and maybe reimagine it and use it on a different story with better graphics or better imagery or whatever. Didn't work out again so well for like Wizard of Oz. You could just say that that's another great example. And these are just movies, and maybe TV shows are the same thing. Like if they brought back Rocket Power, don't do like a live animation or claymation or anything like that. That's not what we want. I want the old stuff. Give me those old crappy, that's the thing. Like when I was watching Avatar, it doesn't even fill a flat screen. If you had a flat screen, it doesn't. If you had a box, great. But like as far as trying to do these things again, it's just not always the best move. So just give us, like, know the difference. Like, give us the old stuff and just keep it old, but bring it back. Bring it back. Don't add on to it, you know? Don't add more fluff and crap to something that was good. You know, that's why it was good. We don't need more. I don't think I want more. Everybody's losing their mind over Hocus Pocus 2, and like that's going to be phenomenal. I saw something that Disney Plus is coming back out with like a Lizzie McGuire, and like how's that going to work? Or like think about how Full House launched on Netflix. Is that even as good? Are people still talking about that? Like, to me, like I'm not interested. Again, it's one of those things where I just truly don't think that's what we want. Again, take the formula that worked for you, maybe a cute family with funny people, but it's still not going to be as good. It's not going to be as good. And that's kind of unfortunate. Just give us the old stuff. Give us like a Nick at Night for people born in the 90s, and I think I'd be set. I think that's a phenomenal idea. And anybody who doesn't know what Nick at Night it was, it's like when I was a kid, so there was Nickelodeon during the day and Nick at Night after 9 that was like the oldies, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which was great, and then even some other older stuff from like the 80s and the 70s. So like great ideas, but like let's revamp it for like us people in the 90s. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I want to add a new segment into our podcast. And that being said, it's going to be like an opinion piece, and then at the end we'll talk about like a kind of a happy story to kind of wrap things up. I really want to focus on more of a positive mindset with these podcasts. So for the opinion piece, we're going to talk about some big news. And I kind of think this might have been swept under the rug with everything else kind of going on right now in the world, people getting canceled and all that fun stuff. I want to talk about the Yeezy deal with Gap. Now, Yeezy is Kanye West. Kanye West is a famous American rapper who, for those who do not know, one of my favorites that I grew up listening to in my childhood / teenage years and into high school and college. So he's got a clothing line and a shoe brand, but he sold his clothing line exclusive, not footwear, to Gap. Big deal. Gap's getting the Yeezy line, the Yeezy line's getting Gap. And I'm curious where people stand with this. Now, who benefits from this deal? Does it benefit Yeezy or does it benefit Gap? Now, Yeezy, I don't know, like I haven't seen much on the Yeezy line, if I'm being totally transparent. I haven't seen a lot of people in my life, at least, wearing Yeezy stuff, including the shoes. So that being said, I love Gap. I'm a Gap outlet kid. I'm at the clearance section. Actually was just there this past weekend. Don't want to say, but I do have a Gap card, so I'm a loyal Gap guy. I love Gap. End of story. TJ Maxx, Gap, my two guys, my two ladies for shopping. So I'm curious to know where people stand with this. For me, I'm excited, but it's also kind of a risk. I don't know what Kanye's clothing line, I've seen some of the stuff. It's interesting, it's exciting, but it's expensive. I'm curious to know what that'll look like within Gap. Gap is typically kind of, higher end. There are some expensive clothes, but they do have some affordable stuff as well. Is that going to fit in with the Yeezy like imagery and what their brand is? I don't know. But in my opinion, I think the winner in this deal is Kanye, because now Yeezy is going to be in Gap or have a section in Gap. I don't know how that works, but it's going to be sick. And I'm excited because from the outlet standpoint, like outlets are fire. They've got all, if you don't know what, go to a Gap outlet. It's all just cheap on sale stuff from Gap, from their other stores. It's phenomenal. It's exciting. It's a rush. And that's where I delete my money most of the time. So it's a great thing for those who like to shop. I think it's going to be an exciting time. This is actually going to start in the beginning, I think Q1 for 2021. So be on the lookout for Kanye West's clothing brand, Yeezy, out in Gap in 2021. I'm hyped. I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped. I can't even believe it. It's wicked. Crazy times we're living in. And last but not least, I want to just wrap this podcast up with one final thought. And it's a story, and I want more people out there reaching out to me to tell their good stories during the week, during the month, whatever you want to highlight. I'm going to try to read through them all. But if you've got a good story to tell and you think it's worth sharing, I'm happy to read it and tell it. I think this is what we need right now, or more good stories out there. I want to share them. I want to see them. And there's not enough of it, I feel like, out in the world. So let's spread it. Let's get this good vibes kind of brewing. So send them to Instagram. Our Instagram handle is the.commonthread on Instagram. It's, again, at the .common, COMMON, thread, THREAD. Sealed. Find us, follow us, send us your stories. This week, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my story. I actually have been back at coaching soccer. I'm at a new school. Previous to coaching this group I'm coming into, I was a JV coach for 1 year and the varsity coach for 2 years at my old high school. When I went back after college, I kind of just helped them out, and I had a great group of guys. I miss them. You guys have heard me talk about them several times now, but I'm back with a new group, and just to share sort of these new feelings. Like, it's so strange, not working with that group, but it's so crazy to me that there are so many similar characters within each kind of, I don't know if it's just within each school, because it's so funny that there are mirror images of players that I've felt like I've already worked with in the past, but just at a new school, and it's bigger. There's I think we're going to have 90 kids or so come the fall, and we've been working with 50 or so at these sessions we've been running in the summertime, and it's just been so great to connect with a new group of kids, get to know their experiences, get to see their skill sets. And I think for me, what I really want to highlight on this positive, happy story note is that for me, I love seeing the very beginning of something, the very beginning of a process. For a lot of these kids that are from 8th grade coming in as freshmen, they're nervous, they're timid, they're also like all over the place as far as where they're at emotionally, physically, and seeing where they are skill-wise. And I will say, you're never going to be your best, I don't think, when you're a freshman in high school. You've got so much to learn, and I think I'm really excited to see where these current kids are. They seem like a really hardworking, fun group, and I really love that. They're really putting in a good effort, and just being able to connect again with so many different kids and hearing their different stories and seeing their different skill set, it makes me excited. It makes me happy, because I know that there's so much more ahead of these kids in front of them. They've got so much that's coming their way, and I think it's going to be really exciting to be able to see them progress as the year goes. And I think for me, that's my favorite part of coaching, is just seeing them grow, seeing the kids that I had coached last few years back home in Vermont. Like, they've been reaching out to me, and seeing them on social media, seeing them grow, seeing them do things, becoming their own person, and hearing their stories still. It's like, and seeing where they're at. It's honestly like the most amazing experience. And anybody who hasn't coached and has always kind of thought about coaching, I highly recommend it. I never thought in a million years I would be coaching. It was kind of just a chance, an opportunity kind of had risen up or came about, and I took it, and it was one of the best experiences, and is the best experience, I have to tell you. And it's really shaped my mindset a lot, and has matured me a lot in different ways. But ultimately, it's the opportunity to help others out in different ways, and kind of guide people in different directions, but they're their own they're their own conductor, and all you can do is just kind of help them along in their journey, in their process, in this path that they have. And it's just so rewarding. It really is. So I'm excited. I can't wait to share stories about soccer as the season hopefully progresses. Given hopefully everything is okay by then, we should have a fall season. So, and for those who do not know, and hopefully, and it's not official at the time, not official right now, but it's looking like I should hopefully be taking over the reserve or all freshman team at Portsmouth High School. So that's super exciting. I can't wait to kind of hopefully share more with you guys on that front. And it's going to be super exciting. On that note, this concludes the episode. We're super excited. Next week, we're going to have a good episode about the college agenda. And if you have, or like thinking, what in the hell, you're gonna wanna stay tuned. Can't wait. See you guys next week and have an excellent week. Peace.